the channel. This will be the second keyboard build of the channel, and the theme of today's build will be Purple Supremacy. So I have a friend of mine, and she's apparently part of the Purple Supremacy gang, and it's just like the mechanical keyboard single. You know, once you join, it's pretty hard to get out. So I'm supposedly now part of the Purple Supremacy gang. And yeah, that's gonna be the theme of today's keyboard build. So the keyboard that we'll be looking at today is the Drop Alt High Profile keyboard. The original board comes in black and silver, I believe. Obviously, we're not going to use the black case to build the Purple Supremacy keyboard. Some of the things I'd like to talk about this keyboard. First of all, it's the material. It's made out of aluminum, and it gives off a more premium feeling compared to the plastic ones because one, it's very heavy. Second of all, it's very robust, so if you're a angry gamer that rages a lot, you're not going to be able to break your table. You know, your table is going to break instead. And one thing I dislike about this board is the obvious branding on the back. It takes up so much space, and there's a lot of words that I just don't know if they do anything. I don't know what purpose they serve. Also, the holes on the back don't look very aesthetic, so yeah, that's also something. But one of the good things is that you will not be seeing this when using the keyboard because you'll be laying your keyboard flat on the table. And you may be asking, why the fuck do I care about the back anyways? Well, it's like sometimes you just take your keyboard up and look at it and you're like, oh shit, this looks so ugly. Then you put it back and start typing again. Another thing about this board, used to be pretty popular, I think, back in the day because it's one of the boards that are most likely in stock on drop. It will take some time for drop to actually deliver this board into your hands, but it's at least in stock and you can get your hands on it. A lot of the boards that we'll be seeing in the future on this channel are very exclusive and very limited, and if you miss the drop, it's very likely that you'll never be able to get the board again. So this is one of the keyboards that you can actually get your hands on. Other things are that it's pretty hollow, which is one of the things that I dislike about this board. So if you guys want to have a listen right now. You can hear the hollowness in the board, so it was popular back in the day because it's hot swap. So it was one of the earlier hot swap keyboards on the keyboard market, and everyone's like, whoa, it's amazing, hot swap. You know, I can just swap out the switches. I can replace switches, test out different switches and all that stuff. It's pretty big back in the day, but there's like so many more better options now, and drop may not be the best option at this point. Also, the hollowness is definitely a huge concern. So a lot of other keyboards definitely sound a lot better compared to this board. So let's talk about some of the good things about this board. One of it is hot swap. Second is the RGB lighting. It has this pretty nice acrylic piece that, you know, diffuses the RGB lighting pretty well. It has individual RGB lighting, so like RGB light per key and stuff like that. And finally, if you want one, you can get your hands on one as it's most likely in stock. It has good accessibility. So those are the good things about this board, but we're obviously not using this case. The actual case that we'll be using for this build is this one. This is you can see the band-aid that I put on top of this keyboard. It's one of my early builds, and honestly for plate mount stabilizers, you don't really need to band-aid it, but I did it anyways, so because I didn't really know what to do back in the day, so you know, it's one of my early boards, I band-aided it. But this case is the lilac case. As you can see, the lilac color, sorry for not focusing. And the branding is much nicer compared to the other one, as there's only this very simple drop logo in the center compared to this, whatever the heck this thing is, so much nicer than that. So this tiny little branding, drop branding over here is just so much more aesthetic, but there's still the big holes in the back, and it is what it is. We're not gonna see the back anyways, but overall I like this case way better compared to the black one. I've also added some foam. So there's a foam at the bottom and there's a piece of foam between the plate and the PCB. And this is from Stupid Fish Design, and they're really nice. They're really good. They make some really nice foam, but it has to be a pretty mainstream board for them to actually make the foam for it, so there's an actual demand for it. So if you get some kind of like exclusive keyboard from a group buy or something, it would be very unlikely for them to actually make foam for it. So now let's take a listen with foam. So after hearing that, we can realize that this board used to be hollow. This is now like a brick. Like, the foam not only adds weight to the keyboard, but it makes it sound physically like a brick. And I was actually surprised by the difference of the sound that it makes. Is it the best option to add as much foam as you can? There's, does it make it sound a lot better? Maybe it's a little bit too brick-like at this point, so there's obviously a balance. But for this build, we'll be building it just like this with all this brick noise basically this time, because I think even though this sounds a bit dull, it's still a lot better than this one. So yeah, that's basically the keyboard that we'll be using. Now let's talk about some of the other things that we'll be using in this build. First of all, the stabilizers. Again, these are from ZOPC. Very nice cherry plate mount stabilizers. So we'll be using these to replace the original stabilizers from the L keyboards. And I can tell you, all of the drop keyboard stabilizers are trash. Like, if you don't replace them, I don't know what you're doing. Next up is the switches. These are the Zelios V2 switches from ZOPC again. So let me focus real quick. It's still not focusing, hold on. These are the Zelios V2 switches from ZOPC. They are a tactile switch, and they're very nice. I've already lubed them, so all we have to do is put them onto the keyboard. So originally I was thinking of using a different switch. Just wait for me to focus real quick. Okay, there we go. This switch, which is the Everglide Violet Crystal Violet, I'm not sure anymore. It has a pretty good color wave, and I was attracted by the color wave because I think it matches the board better compared to the Zelios. But one big issue with this switch is that it's kind of, the spring for some reason is very high pitched. It's very pingy. Like, the metallic ping in this switch is very like pronounced, and you can just hear it. Also, the original switches themselves have these 45 gram springs, and they're too weak to actually push the switch back properly. So when you lube these with, I tried lubing them with 205 grade zeros, which is a more heavy lube, but when I lubed these with the 205 grade zeros, they went down and they just couldn't come back. They got stuck halfway, which is absolutely terrible. These switches are pretty cheap. They're advertised like They try to advertise them as the same as the Zelios switches, but they're really different. I'd say they're really not the same. And I actually like the Zelios switches better. Compared to the Everglides, I would definitely go with the Zelios. One thing that the Everglides is good at is that it's pretty cheap. It's priced reasonably, but at the same time, you'd pretty much have to swap out the springs in order to use the switch. And so you'd probably want to get some Duroc 67 gram switches. When you add that price to it, you know, then it's not that cheap anymore when you add the price onto it. You also have to go through the effort of swapping out all the springs, and sometimes it still doesn't work. I tried to use some 69 gram long springs, and that definitely didn't work. So yeah, you'd have to like swap them with 6-7 gram Duroc springs. Some of them still may not work, some of them may, but the effort to me just wasn't really worth it in the end. So we're not going to use these switches. We're going to use these, the Zelios V2 switches. Pretty epic. All right, so now let's get to the assembly process of this video. Okay, I'd say the keyboard assembly process was very successful. Hopefully this keyboard build does give off a Purple Supremacy vibe. Now let's do a quick sound test of the board. The board feels pretty amazing. Typing on it feels quite good. I really like the typing experience, and you can definitely feel the foam inside of the keyboard and how much noise it's kind of negating from the usual hollowness of the board. I didn't showcase this the before and after the foam, which I should probably do at some point, but I already put the foam when I started doing this video, so I didn't really want to take it back out and do that. So yeah, we'll just leave it at that. So yeah, that pretty much concludes the second episode of our keyboard build video on the channel. Hopefully my friend enjoys this keyboard as much as I do, and hopefully this will make her already Purple Supremacy setup look even more Purple Supremacy with the addition of this keyboard. So yeah, if you liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, as we will have a lot more keyboard content coming in the future. Stay tuned for that, and so yeah, I'll be seeing you guys later.